What was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah. Uh-oh.
Hi folks, we've been working on the electrical now for several weeks, and of course it always takes longer than you wanted to or expected to, but we are closing in on the finish line on that, and we thought we would give you a few observations of what we've learned in the process. The first thing we learned, and we were convinced of at the beginning, was that it requires a lot of planning to do electrical. There's receptacles or outlets, light switches, light fixtures, and so on. And it's good to prepare in advance what gets connected to what, and what's the shortest path for a given wire, or to wire up a given light. And in this project, we had a lot of wiring already in the walls when we purchased the house, and we had to remove a lot of it because it was in walls that we wanted to move, or wasn't in the right place. One big factor in that was that we decided to flip the house end for end, as far as the kitchen used to be on one end, now it's on this end. Bedroom used to be on this end, now it's at the other end. So all those circuits, by and large, had to be pulled out. Sometimes you need a really long one, and in a case like that, very rarely could we reuse a piece that we had taken out of the wall, and we'd have to use from a new roll. So we just tried to be careful and conservative on how much new cable we used and not waste anything. So that's part of the planning process, is to lay out what's going to be the shortest path between things that have to be connected, and therefore you're using the least amount of wire. And again, I used a drawing program, the Sweet Home 3D, in order to draw these different circuits and find out the best path, most optimal path for some of these circuits. Another thing that I personally have a pet peeve about is circuit breaker boxes, the electric panel, where the circuit breakers are things like number 1, number 3, number 4, or Sally's room or something like that. You don't really know what the circuit covers, what that breaker is going to cover. So I had a couple of goals. One is I wanted to put the receptacles, which we call outlets usually, in a room on one circuit. So anything that's a receptacle, like in the kitchen or the bedroom, I wanted all those to be on just one circuit, and then all the lighting to be on its own circuit. And the advantage of this is that if you blow a breaker, if you pop a breaker because something shorted out, you still, if the lights that that breaker pop, well, then you still have outlets, receptacles, you can plug in a lamp and still see what you're doing, and vice versa. So that way you're not completely taken out of commission if a circuit breaker pops. Another reason is to keep the rooms on different circuits. It's real helpful when you go down to the panel, if you can go down the list and say, oh, this says bathroom, and it's bathroom outlets. You know immediately what it is and what it covers, and you always have a quick idea of where to find something. So again, if the, say, a bathroom light circuit were to pop the breaker, it wouldn't affect your kitchen or your great room or your bedroom and so on. So you still have light around in order to fix the problem or continue whatever it is you are doing.
I'm standing in the kitchen of our apartment. It's not huge. It's like 12 by 12. And what you find out pretty quickly if you are renovating the kitchen is that there are a lot of complexities to it. So there are a lot of circuits in a kitchen, and a lot of them are mandated by code. They're just required to do that. But when you think about a kitchen, you've got a lot of appliances that use power, so you've got a stove, you've got a refrigerator, you've got a microwave, you've got a disposal, you've got a dishwasher, you've got all these outlets on the countertops, you've got all kinds of light, because you need lots of light in the kitchen, lots of different kind of light. And there's just a lot of stuff going on in the kitchen. So, for example, in here, I mentioned the countertop lights. There's going to be a peninsula going across here, so this will all be countertop like that. Code says that you have to have 2 sets of circuits for plugging things in around the countertop. So even if it's a short wall or something, you still have to have 2 circuits. So one like this, and I've got another one way over here. And that's simply because there are so many appliances. Either the sink on each side, there has to be an outlet. So there's a lot of mandated wiring by code for a kitchen. So over in here, you see this box right here. This has got 3 different switches in it. And one switch is for the lights that are across there that are going to be pendants hanging down. Another is for the pendants hanging down here. And another is for those 4 recessed lights up there. So that's 3 switches right there, 3 circuits that have to be wired up. Countertop receptacles. Over here, we can do a disposal, and the dishwasher circuit can be on one circuit according to our inspector. So it's a 3-wire that's coming in here, and there'll be a switch that controls for turning on the disposal, but this one here will go directly down to power for the dishwasher. More circuits. The first box is a receptacle. On each of these countertop ones have to be GFCI. So, and then if you keep going around, then of course you've got even more complicated stuff having to do with porch light. You also want, when you come in this door, that this switch can turn on those same lights we talked about before. We turn on over there on the counter. So the pendant lights and the can lights and so on. And more outlets and more switches. And dining room behind that with its own switch. So there's a lot of circuits that you got to put in. And it takes a lot of planning, a lot of design work to get it ready to go.